Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Pabon, I stand in strong support of Senate Joint Resolution 024. And I'm so proud to be able to stand in the legacy of Cesar Chavez. Because when I think about what we just celebrated last week, we were talking about farmers. And we were talking about the characteristics that goes into play when you have a farm. But what I think was missing from that dialogue is the workers. And that's what Cesar Chavez stood for. He stood for the farm workers. And I can remember what it was like for farm workers who had to endure living conditions on those farms. They were kind of stuck in these camps, and some of these camps did not have running water. And their working conditions were hard and they were long. Oftentimes, they were forced to use these tools, these short tools. It talks about it in the resolution, the short handle hoe that would cripple the farm worker for generations. So I'm proud to talk about the workers, the people who worked those farms. They were exposed to dangerous chemicals, and a lot of times they worked alongside their family members. So oftentimes there were children that were also working the farm as well. I want to thank God for Cesar Chavez and for all that he did for the United Farm Workers, because what he did is he looked at the surroundings and he saw the inequities that were going on around him, and he chose to do something about it. What he chose to do? He was the first to create a collective bargaining agreement between farm workers and growers in the United States. And what that did, that bargaining agreement, it propelled unions around our country to protect workers. He was the first to create rest periods because they would just let them work all the time, rest periods. Now, in today's environment, it's law, labor law, where you have to have breaks. He made sure that they had clean drinking water and facilities for those to wash their hands. He was the first to ban pesticide spraying while the workers were in the field. Can you imagine that? He looked around his environment, he saw the injustices, and he said, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to change. And there has been some progress, but there's still much more progress that still needs to take place. I still see workers out there, and I'm quite sure they're not able to make it on the wages that they're earning. And so I stand in strong support for Senate Joint Resolution 024. Thank you, Representative Pabon.